Here we are outside. Got to do a little bit of yard work. I got to trim this tree limb up here. I got to climb up this ladder. It's like most ladders you set up. 3 legs seem to work. 4th one seems to miss the ground a little bit. And if I'm going up this ladder with these bad boys, I want things to be sturdy. Come on in. Take a look at the problem. Past we've always resorted to sticking a piece of wood underneath the leg. Well, it's not quite thick enough. Okay, that one might be thick enough, but we're still not quite sturdy. With our plastic stabilizer pads, this pad here is this ladder's gonna need a little help from the riser pad itself, and then we'll use the universal pad on top. We're gonna use the square side, the rectangular side of the stabilizer pad that'll fit inside the foot of the ladder to keep everything from slipping. And the riser will bring it up to where we need the ladder to be level. And with everything in place, even with that on an angle, the pocket there is going to hold it in place and keep us safe. This would be an example of how the stabilizer pad would help you in an outdoor event such as a wedding or an open house or family reunions. The list goes on and on. This table's set up, it's a little bit leaned into one side, which puts a lot of weight on this particular foot on this side, and if the table continues to sink into the ground, we'll just end up with a huge mess on our hands. So I see where catering companies could find this very, very valuable. If you come on in closer to the foot here, I can show you how it works. In this case here, we have quite an angle problem here. We could use either the round side or the rectangular side. I'm going to use the round side here, and I'm also going to use the riser pad to pick it up to make it level as we need it. As you see, when they're put together, they're locked in place. They're not going to slide around. And then once the table's on here, it's got a pocket to sit in. It won't be sliding around. If somebody bumps the table, it won't slide off any other type of blocking, such as a piece of wood or something. Here's another example how the stabilizer pad could help out a lot of rental companies. A lot of outdoor events like the weddings and stuff like that, they'll line up chairs for seating for the guests. If you put the stabilizer pad underneath the legs of your chairs that are meant to be inside and that are now outside, it'll keep the chair stable, keep the feet clean, and also keep the company from having to replace these rubber feet on their chairs all the time. So it's just another prime example of one of the many uses of the stabilizer pad. And this would be a good use for this particular stabilizer pad with it being smooth on one side. This is another example of how the stabilizer pad would be very useful for rental companies. So you can see we have it positioned underneath a set of chairs that would be set up at any type of event like a wedding or any other outdoor activities that people may have planned. Now this works good for keeping the chairs from sinking into the soil, but it also protects the feet of these chairs from being soiled from the dirt, and keeps companies from having to replace these rubber feet all the time. This is a good example of how one of these pads with the smooth side would be very nice and handy. This is an example of how we can use it on a pool. This here is the upper support pillar for a above ground pool that you can buy in most of your retail stores today. I can tell you right now that the surface of the bottom of this thing is not large enough to keep it supported with most surfaces. I set this up last year, and these feet just sunk right out of sight. I resorted to using pieces of wood to help support them, and they still sunk really bad, and I had a lot of concerns about splitting of the wood and everything like that. And from past experience, I can tell you that you cannot lift these things when that pool is full of water. Now we thought about this year, if we were to put a cinder block in there to help support it, then we have to be concerned about the rough edges up against the liners. And it just isn't a risk that we're willing to take. The plastic stabilizer pads had the round pocket in it, and the post fits in there very, very nice. Fits down nice against the ground, and the smooth edges won't damage the liner. Now if you for some reason you needed to use the riser pad, that would work just fine also. The riser pad, if anything else, just adds more stability. Campers are going to find this product extremely useful when they're out camping. I set up the table over here because it's out of the smoke. We don't always have the option of always finding the best place to set up our table in regards to level grounds. We set up away from the smoke, or we would put it in the shade someplace. While placing the table away from the smoke, we found ourselves turning our picnic table into a teeter-totter. I think we've all been there before. But with the stabilizer pad, we can stack the stabilizer pad. We use the rectangular side up for this particular picnic table. Pick up the leg. Foot sits in there nicely. Now our picnic table is back to being a picnic table again.
Go.
As you can see with this picnic table, the ground is cut. As you can see with this picnic table, time has taken toll on the feet of the picnic table itself. It's being rotted from ground contact. It's getting pretty rough. It won't be just a matter of time when these legs will have to be replaced. And we could have avoided a lot of this problem with the stabilizer pad. With this side being smooth, the rectangular side being regular, and we could have actually attached the pad to the bottom of the picnic table permanently, and it would have protected these feet, and they would have lasted a much longer time. In our leisure time, one of the things that we love to do is go dirt biking. And one of the problems that we have with our dirt bikes, especially after we unload the bikes and everything, get them set up and we're warming them up, we run into the problem of our kickstand sinking into the ground and making it more difficult to start the bikes and let them sit there while they warm up. Before long, they'll be laying on the ground. This stabilizer pad will be very, very helpful for us in order that we can get the kickstands up off the ground, out of the dirt, on sturdy ground. Even with the hole underneath that kickstand there, the pad's still. Many times we find ourselves out in the park or out on the beach, and we're taking our folding chairs out there, and our folding chairs are digging down into the sand, which isn't a really big support problem. The problem is when you got to take care of your chair, you got to take all the sand off it, and then you always end up sand down in the mechanisms of the chair legs, and that always causes problems. Use a support pad, put it underneath the chair leg. That eliminates all your problems, whether it be sinking too much or you just want to keep your chair legs out of the sand.
Go.
This concludes our outdoor demonstration of the stabilizer pad. And looking for a little bit of a break now, so I'll sit back and relax. Hey Nate, how about that drink? Thank you. I hope you can see the value of the stabilizer pad, same as we do. Seems like we always keep coming up with new uses for them all the time. Look, we have a beach coaster. Hi, my name is Keith Pierce. I'd like to introduce you to my new invention. It's the plastic stabilizer pad. It consists of 4 parts. Unfortunately, I've only prototyped 2 of them out, but it'll give you the basic idea. This is the universal pad. It has a round pocket on one side, and on the back side it has a rectangular pocket. The 2 parts that are missing will be the same as this particular part here, except the opposite side of the pockets will be smooth. This other part here is called the riser pad. These all fit together in a way that you can adjust the height of anything that you're trying to level or support, depending on what height you need. The universal pads will stack up on top of each other to give you gradual height increments, or you can use the riser pad to increase the distance much quicker. Well, it would be a lot easier if I could demonstrate it. So let's go outside and I'll show you how it's done. Now that I've demonstrated a few of its uses, I'd like to discuss some of the manufacturing benefits to the product. The product is relatively easy in design. It has absolutely no undercuts in it. So as far as tooling up, it makes it a very least expensive part to tool up to. And as far as marketing goes, we believe that you'll be able to
Cut.
Now that we demonstrated some of the few uses that there is out there for the stabilizer pad, I'd like to discuss a couple of different manufacturing benefits that you can get with this product. This product is very simple in design and it has absolutely no undercuts in it, so tooling up is very easy and economical. As far as marketing goes, there's so many avenues you can go down with that. All depends on your focus market, whether it be your do-it-yourselfer around the garage or the house, or your backyard lounger, your beach goers, so whatever the case may be. There's a lot of different avenues that I believe that the stabilizer pad could fill. And if you really wanted to go extremely large and heavy duty with this, I believe that it also would be marketable even in the industrial level for supporting scaffolding or something along that line. But that's about all I have. But if you if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You know how to contact us. Thanks, and look forward to talking to you soon.